Europeans approach car ownership differently than we do in the US, buying the vehicle that's needed on a daily basis. Americans generally consider the worst case scenario, like my parents visit every other Christmas, so we'll need a school bus. This, the Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport, does not have 3 rows. Unlike the regular Atlas, it stops at 2 and the back gets a faster rake. It's aimed squarely at Americans because, well, we love big. Both Atlases are large machines.
Crossport is 5.2 inches shorter and 2.2 inches lower overall than the standard 3-row Atlas, but they both ride on the same length wheelbase. This is smart and efficient product planning, similar to what Honda did with the Pilot to come up with the Passport. Volkswagen instantly reaches a different demographic and has a competitor to Chevy Blazer, Ford Edge, and Nissan Murano.
And yes, you might look at a Subaru Outback that's about 4 inches shorter, or Kia Sorento that's half a foot smaller and packs a small 3rd row. Jeep Grand Cherokee too. The players in this segment aren't being given away in cereal boxes. They're not cheap. Do your research. A front-drive Cross Sport starts at $31,500. 4Motion all-wheel drive adds about $2,000 to the bottom line. I'm driving a mid-pack all-wheel drive SE with technology model in tourmaline blue metallic. It retails for just under $39,000. The tech pack adds adaptive cruise control with stop and go, remote start, 20-inch wheels, and a kick to open tailgate. Handy if your arms are full of groceries or toddlers, or both.
Now, I am not doing the TP trunk test for a while because of social distancing and could not think of anything clever to put in the trunk to measure it, so for the first time ever, it's gonna be me. I'm 5'9", and if I duck a little bit, I would be happy to social distance back here. This is a big space, and obviously it's a crossover, so it gets larger, but you have to do it here. There are no remote releases.
Also, no ski pass-through or 40-20-40 split seats. On the positive, though, the floor is as flat as eastern Montana. I should know, I've driven through there a few times. The space is cavernous at nearly 78 cubic feet. Seats up, we're talking 40.3. That's very useful. The bag hooks are hefty, nothing cheap here. It would be wise to order the security shade, and it looks as though there's storage space for it to see those indentations in back. There's good utility under the floor. Now, I did the 3-row Atlas a while back. If you're curious, there's about 21 cubic feet behind row 3, 55.5 behind row 2, and a studio apartment of nearly 97 behind the front seats. Dang, that's a lot of space if you're a worst-case scenario kind of buyer. By the way, Atlas and Chevy Traverse are the TP trunk test champs. Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport are built on the ultra-flexible MQB platform, so they use the same engines, either a 3.5-liter V6 with 276 horsepower or this 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. There's 235 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque on tap using regular-grade fuel. With a sure-feeling mechanical lever, shifting duties are handled with an 8-speed automatic. Manual shifts are done here. Drive modes affect steering, throttle response, and transmission mapping. The 4Motion-equipped Cross Sport that I'm driving weighs just shy of 4,300 pounds. That's only 150 less than the full-on Atlas.
Planning on towing a lot? Then you should consider the V6. That goes for $1,400. That and the $550 tow package will handle 5,000 pounds. Now, if you're just concerned about power, the Turbo 4 is not half bad.
4 is only down 8 pound-feet of torque, and it comes on earlier in the power band.
Very little turbo lag off the line, 0 to 60 spools up in about 7.5 seconds. So really, not sure the V6 is needed.
That might be hard to wrap your brain around, but yes, a roomy 5-seat crossover doesn't need a V6, though it might feel and sound better. Test drive, people. Ride quality is slightly firm. Sharp-edged potholes are felt with a thunk that resonates, but overall,
this is a pretty comfortable ride. The suspension soaks up big bumps nicely, and bend this thing into a corner, and for a big rig, it's pretty good. The name might be Cross Sport. I would classify the handling as sporty-ish. Even in sport mode, a lot of sports there, I would say the steering weight is a little bit on the light side for my tastes.
And let's face it, buyers in this class are giving up Corvette-grade handling the moment they decided on a family crossover, though there is the Porsche Cayenne Turbo S at a significant premium. And back to the six-cylinder argument, the Turbo 4 weighs some 120 pounds less.
Think about it, the Turbo 4 has less weight in the nose, so that should improve handling if you were paying attention during your high school physics class. I wasn't, but I got better.
Fuel economy? That's about the same as Passport, Edge, and Blazer at an EPA average of 22 miles per gallon. In highway cruising, the Ford beats the VW by 4 mpg. In the safety department, automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection and blind spot warning are standard on all cross sports. If you want adaptive cruise control, lane keeping, and self-parking tech, it means moving up to higher trim levels.
The 8-speed is very good. You may not even notice it, does not call attention to itself at all. In fact, it's so good, I almost forgot to talk about it.
Subaru Outback uses a continuously variable transmission, so you know. Some people don't like the dynamics of those, others don't care. Know thyself. Other two-row machines you might look at are GMC Terrain, Hyundai Santa Fe, and Toyota RAV4 if you don't need the space of the Atlas. Oh, and the automatic engine start-stop system is pretty smooth for a four-cylinder. And if it drives you up the wall, it's easily defeated. The cabin looks as large and wide as, well, a cabin. The squared-off shapes give it a broad, airy appearance, even if the glass isn't particularly tall. VW used to install some of the best materials in class. To my eye, seems like the bean counters have stepped in. The vibe is purposeful and rudimentary. Trim that looks like a photograph of barnwood with abstract strafes doesn't help. Go with Audi division if you want swank. At the SE level, seats are heated, they're broad and flat, something that large drivers will appreciate, not much lateral support for others. Oh, and they're leatherette. The driver's is powered, the passenger's is not. Crossovers are about family duty, and there are plenty of spots to stash wipes, and cords, and snacks, and tablets to take care of the brood. Remember when we used to have maps? That's something that's disappeared from most cars. There is a CD player, it's in the glove box. Speaking of, the sound system is okay, but people that take their tunes seriously will want to upgrade to the excellent Fender system.
Buy one of these and you get a 5-year subscription to CarNet, which is an app-based system that allows you to use your phone and soon a smartwatch to do things like check your fuel level, start and stop your engine, check your doors and windows, see if those are open or closed from miles away. And it's CarNet, not Skynet.
All models come with a Wi-Fi hotspot. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and an agnostic system called MirrorLink are standard. These require a phone cord that, like socks, always seem to be missing. At least there's wireless phone charging. Volkswagen calls its user interface MIB2, and starting with the SE, it's an 8-inch screen. Response is good. Man, the person before me had a Jones for NPR. Maybe it's the wide dash, or that the other manufacturers are installing 10 and 11-inch screens. This one looks a little on the small side.
With no third row, I have to imagine there's a lot of space back there. Yep, brought my pitchfork. I see that. It's 48 inches long. Check this out. That is impressive leg room. Volkswagen officially says it's just over 40 inches. That is limo-like. Thigh support is good, but they don't slide fore and aft to max out leg or cargo room. That bugs me. But I do like that there's a lot of storage pockets in the door and a space for water bottles too. VW doesn't chintz out here. Both seat backs get pockets. The Crossport is armed for bear when it comes to charging electronics. Nice. Like the front seats, these have very little contouring. I am into panoramic sunroofs, so spending $1,200 would be a no-brainer for me. Finally, the floor is as flat as the seat cushions. Crossport is wide, and together with the legroom, 3 back here is a reality, even on longer trips. And since the trunk is large, that makes those kinds of excursions possible. Really, ask yourself if you need a third row.
A quick touch on styling. While there's a lot of Atlas in Crossport's design language, front and rear fascias are different and the greenhouse is changed up. There are chunky lines that stand out and small flourishes that get overlooked. Honda didn't do much to differentiate Pilot from Passport. Volkswagen gave this an Audi Q8 silhouette. Personally, I find Edge and Blazer a little bit better eye candy, but that's just me. A pricing reminder, the base model starts at $31,500. The most expensive one is the V6-equipped SEL Premium R-Line that just crests 50 grand. Volkswagen Atlas Crossport is practical and roomy, drives pretty well too. It's all a family of four really needs to tackle life. Anything bigger might be extra weight on your shoulders. So, I made it through this piece without calling this the Crosstrek. I hope. I might have done that somewhere. For some reason, the Crossport name isn't anchoring in my brain. I'm not mentioning the COVID-19 thing much because I'm an optimist and figure things will start returning to normal. Don't want to date these videos too much. But getting back to the way things were will happen slowly. Please do all of the things that smart people are urging us to do. The life you save might be your own. Or a loved one. Speaking of, thanks to my wife Mariko for driving this big rig. She's not a car person, and when she drives, she prefers small vehicles, so spending a couple hours going back and forth in this wasn't her idea of fun.
You made it to the very end, so you get a fun fact. The Atlas is produced in only one place on planet Earth, Chattanooga, Tennessee. Chattanooga, great fun to say. And they are exported to different places on the planet, but none to Germany. No, the Atlas is not a thing in the mother country, even though Volkswagen is a German company. They do end up in Russia and the Middle East, I believe, under the name Terramont, which is too bad because I think Atlas is a great moniker for an SUV crossover, don't you think? A reminder, click subscribe and then notifications because, I put a lot of work into these videos. I do want people to see them. Thanks. Appreciate it. That's Driven. I'm Tom Volk.